The hierarchy of power has changed. Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchtime Express with Enrico Alfonso. Today we're talking about Black Adam. Last night I got the incredible opportunity to watch this epic movie, and this is my movie review. This is actually the first time I'm posting a review on here, so I'm a bit nervous. Bear with me. This was truly such an enjoyable film for me, especially from the DC universe after such a long time. I had so much fun with this movie. It is exactly what it needs to be. That's all. Just an action-packed extravaganza of awesome proportions. Right? And we have never seen Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson like this before. I mean, sure, he's been intimidating. He's an action star, so he's been intimidating in a lot of his movies. Like Walking Tall and, Fast and the Furious. But in some of these movies, it's like there's always a hint of comedy around it. Like even with Fast and Furious, as imposing as and intimidating as he is in Fast and the Furious, they still put a comical edge towards it, and he's still got co-stars and other actors that need to take the limelight at certain points. Like with Vin Diesel and like with his fight with Vin Diesel, we knew at the end, they were going to make sort of Vin Diesel kind of come out on top. But this one, he is the top dog. He is the alpha of alphas. He is just this powerhouse of overwhelming smackdown, man. Like raw knuckled action, tragedy, and thunderous rebirth. This is just one of the coolest movies he's ever done. And I love it so much. And I know a lot of the reviews are critiquing this and that and yada yada yada. But you also have to realize that you need to take those with a grain of salt. Because with reviews, look at the psychology of it, that people need things to say. They need to go on and on about something specific in something to make the content, to make the whole article piece, blah, blah, blah. So they're really just nitpicking on the intricacies of this movie, whereas overall, it's just awesome. It's an awesome action-packed movie that's comic book based, that has a story that's never been seen before, and that I truly enjoyed. That's what I took away from this movie. As a geek, as an awesome DC fan, is that it doesn't paint it as anything else than what the movie needs to be. And that's, I think, a foundation of what has been built before. I mean, I compare what The Rock has done here with what RDJ did with Iron Man, what Reynolds did with Deadpool. It was just a role they were born to play with. And at the same time, it was like a reinvigoration of the character. Something that hadn't been seen, that hadn't been enjoyed, that hadn't been geeked out about. And now we got that opportunity with this character. He birthed this amazing character, legendary even. And the thing that I love so much about this movie is the brutality, the menace of The Rock. I mean, I've never seen him as menacing as this. It's like you stand in front of the guy and you're like, you want to shake because you don't know what he's going to drop next. That's how riveting he is. And I can't even for the life of me fathom how this is in the same universe as the Shazam one. Because, let's face it, the Shazam movie was like a comical take on the character. Like super jokey, doesn't take itself seriously at all. So I don't even understand how Black Adam would even stand in front of that Shazam's presence. It would be so... So yes, with the reviews, take it with a grain of salt. Because sometimes they really just drone on. I mean, and they use high-tech jargon like exposition and overarching story. And I don't even know if they know what those words mean. Like with the way that they say it. Like, how does that fit in what you're saying? Just say it simply, rather. I have been waiting my whole life to see a comic book movie come to life like this, where it's just brutal action. It shows you the decisiveness of an anti-hero. Someone who literally is so secure in his belief system, in his unending deliverance to want to bring justice to criminals, to evildoers. And it's giving me the vibes of the Punisher, where he had the system that when he puts down a criminal, they stay down, not the regular hero way of locking them up and then they out in like a few months and they're doing havoc again. This one is just The Rock ends them immediately. Black Adam ends them immediately. And the movie did not pull any punches in that regard. Yes, it was an R rating in the beginning, and they had to bring it down a notch. I would have loved it to be an R rating to see like the proper brutality, but you can find that in Invincible or anything like that if you want to go check out just what this type of power could actually do. That's actually in Invincible is actually a fraction of what this power could do. And now here you can see it just without the gore and the torn limbs and those kinds of things. But you still get the death. There's so much death in this movie. He just goes on like a killing. So many people are killed. I can't give a negative review. If that's what you're here for, and I know a lot of people try to do it for the clout and try to do it just to have the heading or say something bad about this, but I don't really have anything bad to say about this movie. It was just fun. It was awesome to see. It was just a role Dwayne was meant for, and I truly just had a blast watching it. That's all you need to know. And what I loved about this movie was that there's definitely little source material to cover this type of story with Black Adam. Remember, in the comics, he's been portrayed as this really evil villain. You know, he's bitter at the old wizard for taking away the Shazam role from him. He's spiteful, he's vengeful, he's just a tyrant kind of with his power in the comics, you know, and they paint him as two-dimensional. But here is a movie that's been adapted, yes, and yes, there is a similar story, but nothing close to this with Black Adam. And it's been brought to life. And this was Dwayne's vision from the beginning. He languished for 15 years to try and make this a reality. And it's just that power of determination and rooted in his belief that he could make this possible. That's what's inspiring. That's what I love so much about the behind the scenes of this movie. Story-wise and with the other characters, people are saying they didn't have enough time to understand who the characters are, what their powers are, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you don't need to know that stuff. You just need to enjoy the film for the action and for the cool people with powers. Like, why isn't that just awesome and enough to enjoy? Why do you need to now know everybody's backstory? That's not what Marvel did. That's not what people did. And like I said, I compared it to Iron Man in the way it started the DCU universe, where it introduces you to other characters from fandoms, but at the same time, it separates from it. And nobody really cared about it until it came out. And that was kind of like this. I mean, it had The Rock's marketing madness behind it, yes. But at the same time, it was like, who is this character? Where's he coming from? What's going on? And now, after watching the movie, you're like, holy crap, this dude is legend. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see Kevin Hart come into the DCU now. Because Dwayne and Kevin just play such epic counterparts. And you watched DC's Super Pets, right? You know what Kevin Hart can do as a sort of superhero. Even a serious kind of type person, not just comical all the time. So if that kind of Kevin Hart can come into the DCU and come into the Black Adam expansion, oh man, that would just be epic. One of the earliest notions that has parallels to this movie has got to be Scorpion King. I mean, he came in as a side character in The Mummy. And because of that, he became a whole movie on his own. I mean, it's his whole franchise. There's other movies even now. But, like, he started that first one where he had enough of a backstory to entertain people, to get people to empathize with his villain. It's that he has this tragic, truly tragic past, and you really feel the depth of his sadness from it and what motivated to become the way that he is. Let's talk about some of the other characters. Dr. Fate, another perfectly cast. Pierce Brosnan is just absolutely sedimentary in this role. And the way that they envision Dr. Fate in this is so cool to see and watch. Yes, there's a lot of parallels to Doctor Strange, but I think that's the Marvel versus DC of it all, you know? They create a character. I mean, Shazam was supposed to be a parody of another character in Marvel, and then Doctor Strange is a parody of Dr. Fate. It just goes on and on with them in the never-ending competition. But he is still unique in his own way, with the visions of the future, with his mystical connections that Doctor Strange just doesn't have yet. Really, really loved seeing him in this. I can't wait for the expansion of it. He really deserves his own solo movie. I would love to see that. The others, not so much, but Hawkman really delivered in this movie specifically. I enjoyed his deliverance of the character. It was just a total cinematic blast. And it's definitely one of DC's best films to date in terms of action, deliverance, power, dynamic, and of course a character that no one saw coming. Okay, so now for the spoilers. Are you ready for this? I mean, I've literally been giving it away the entire thing, and people have been saying it too, so. Superman is back! Yes! Oh, I'm so excited, man. I'm so happy Henry Cavill is back as Superman. I don't even know what to say about this. But I can tell why they brought Superman into the post-credit instead of Shazam, because like I said, he's comical and jokey. I don't even know how they would fit the seriousness and menace of Black Adam into something as comical as Shazam. But I can totally understand a Superman versus Black Adam, because they are both powerhouses of like epic proportions, and if they had to go toe to toe, whoo, damn, the earth would shake. It would literally shake. It just does exactly what The Rock said it would do. The hierarchy of power has definitely, unequivocally changed. Okay? There's no doubts about that now. He has proven that. And to bring Superman in now states that there's an even bigger picture to see in the future. It doesn't have to be exactly what it is in the comics. It can be something completely different. It doesn't only have to be... There doesn't need to be a source material for it to be adapted into something. Yes, they can rely on it, but let's also face it, with the Avengers and Endgame, there were a lot of curveballs in there that was never in the comics. And that's what needs to happen here with DCU, is things that nobody can really expect, and it needs to expand in a progressive rate, not this haphazard kind of way. There needs to be a cohesion here. There needs to be a block-to-block connection to each kind of film. We haven't really had that before. And I'm excited for the recastings for The Flash and hopefully a re-envisioning, because that Flash was really weird. Wonder Woman's perfect. Aquaman's perfect. Batman and Cyborg definitely need to change. And then we've got this epic, awesome DCU universe with Justice League and freaking whatever maddening group Black Adam is a part of as an anti-hero group. Bring that forth, yes. Oh man, I can't hide my excitement. I just really, really want this to expand the DCU and just bring it all to bear. And just deliver on all the epic stories that we want to see. Thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, subscribe and follow for more. I'm going to be coming out with a whole lot more reviews on this channel and everywhere which way on my social media channels as well. So thank you so much. Have an awesome day. Leave a comment. Subscribe. See you same time in the next review. Fire con.